bring in law and crime host and legal analyst Terry Austin for more. Terry, so first, we are expecting to hear from Kim Potter probably today. What do you expect to hear from her when she takes the stand?
Good morning, Terry. She wants to show what was in her mind, that mens rea. What was she intending when she shot Daunte Wright? And obviously, the charges against her are the two manslaughter charges. The fact is, was she reckless with that gun, or whether or not she was creating a risk to others, that culpable negligence? And she's going to try to say it was neither. She's going to say that I thought Officer Johnson was in trouble, that he was going to get dragged by that car. I accidentally pulled out my gun instead of my taser, but the point was I was trying to stop Daunte Wright from hurting anyone else. And so the argument that the defense is making basically is that she was correct, whether she pulled out her taser or whether she pulled out her gun. Frankly, Terry, I think it's going to be very difficult to say either using the taser or the gun was the right choice or was reasonable under those circumstances.
Because, Terry, there's a big difference between a taser, which is meant to subdue someone with non-lethal force, and a gun, which kills. So whatever her judgment of the risk in the situation, she still shot the man when she did not intend to, with lethal force that, what is she saying, lethal force was necessary in that situation? But that's kind of not what she thought she was doing. She thought she wasn't using lethal force. It just seems a stretch to ask the jury to forgive her for either pulling the taser and shooting him or shooting him with their gun.
That's exactly right. I think it is a stretch. I think she should have basically just said, and we'll see what she says, but I think the argument should have been, look, this was a mistake. I think the problem there is the jury will say, okay, yes, you're right, it was a mistake, and you should be accountable for that mistake. The example that I give is you're driving down the street and you reach for your phone because it fell down and you hit someone. Clearly, you didn't intend to do that, but that was a mistake, and you will be held accountable for that mistake. It's one or the other, manslaughter or manslaughter 2, and it's an accident, but it is something that you should be held responsible for. And the prosecution came out in the beginning talking about the fact that all of this was something she was trained for. You are supposed to uphold that code. You are in a position where you are carrying a lethal weapon. You have to be better. And she was trained for so many years. The problem is she never really used either her gun or her taser. So when push came to shove, she wasn't able to handle that situation. And that's a problem.
Because, as you point out, Terry, you know, we give people a badge and a gun and empower them with the authorization to use lethal force in the right circumstances. And by her own acknowledgement, she didn't do that. But there was Potter's former chief on the stand. We just heard in the Stephanie Ramos report. He said her actions did not violate any department policy or law, which is alarming in one sense, if policy and law there, you know, permits this kind of thing. But nevertheless, he's a figure of authority. Do you think that has impact with the jury?
I do think it has impact with the jury. Listen, the police officers all got up on that stand and supported her 100%, essentially. And when the former police chief, Gannon, got on the stand, the fact that he said she didn't break any policies, well, of course she did. And one of the other officers also said that she wasn't required to tell Lucky at the time, look, don't make the stop at the passenger or driver's door. Bring the individual back to the back of the car. And you could tell her that later that was when it was supposed to be done. In other words, that it was all correct what Potter did. That's not accurate. If Potter had done a number of other things, that incident would not have happened. She definitely did not follow police policy, and she should have told Lucky at the time, bring him to the back so he doesn't have an opportunity to get back in that car. And frankly, telling him later would not have helped the situation. And we saw what happened as a result of all of that.
Just a tragedy. The jury's going to have to sort it out. And before I let you go, I just wanted to ask about the Theronos trial and Elizabeth Holmes. 3 months, a very complex trial for jurors. What's your takeaway from what they've heard?
You know, it's all going to come down to whether or not the jury believes her. And she was on the stand for a very long time. Will they give her the benefit of the doubt, or was she intentionally defrauding? Right now, I'm at 50-50. It's very hard to say.
Juries are generally pretty good, I think. I don't know what at being lie detectors in there, actually. They judge witnesses pretty pretty accurately. If you get 12 people looking at one person, they can generally figure out whether they're telling the truth or lying. At least that's my experience. But Terry Austin, 50-50, I'll take those odds. Thanks very much. And when Kim Potter does take the witness stand, we'll bring that to you live. I'm sure Terry will be with us at some point.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.